Hey everyone, and thanks for joining me here at the Dice Tower. My name is Camilla, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite push your luck games. Now, push your luck games are ones that are going to have, well, make you feel like you're pushing your luck, that you're right there on the line of what is too much. Sometimes this is re-rolling dice and knowing when to stop. Sometimes this is knowing how many cards to draw or chits to pull out of a bag, something like that, of just really pushing your luck on how far can I go, how greedy can I get. So these are going to be my top 10 that have that element to it. Let's jump in. My number 10 is the newest game on the list, and this is going to be Picoladice. Yes, Picoladice, not pina colada, and not just dice. Picoladice. I nailed it. Picoladice is a new game that has really no new mechanisms to it. I was charmed by this party game, and I think you have to keep that in mind, that this is a party style game. It is instantly going to be familiar, it's going to instantly be comfortable and be able to be played at some variable player counts. I've played it at 2, I've played it at 4, I think it works well across the board. This is tic-tac-toe meets Yahtzee. So there's different goals out on the board here, tiles that are in the form of coasters, and you are trying to either get a full house or a straight, some combination of dice rolls, and you have up to 3 re-rolls to get it. When you get it, you get to go out there, you get to claim that spot, which will then turn into points. First to 20 points wins, or first to get a tic-tac-toe, either diagonal, horizontal, or straight up and down. And so you really are pushing your luck in trying to get the specific tile you want, whether it be for those points, whether it's to block someone from getting tic-tac-toe, or to set yourself up for a tic-tac-toe. And so I think that that is the interesting part of the game, is the marriage of those two games and elements that you're already comfortable with. You can explain this game in 3 minutes and be up and playing. I really like that about it, and the push your luck does bring some comfortable tension to it in a party game atmosphere, and that's why Picoladice is my number 10. Next up at number 9 is Don't Go In There. Don't Go In There has push your luck in every part of the game. It is going to be in where you place your worker, because where you place your worker is going to be dependent on how many ghosts you take on the ultimate end die roll. It's also going to dictate which, in turn order, which cards you get to take from that location, and you're going for sometimes set collection and sometimes set cancellation. So sometimes you want to have the most, sometimes you want to have the least, or you want to have the perfect pair, something like that. So when do you go and go higher in the turn order for that card selection, but at the expense of how many ghosts you might have to take when ultimately end of the game, whoever has the most ghost get a really bad consequence. So you're pushing your luck in a myriad of different ways on every turn in this game, and again, another element of it is when to trigger that die roll, because once a location is full, so do you go there just to kind of force that die roll and make that location resolve. So yeah, Don't Go In There is a great push your luck, because there's so many different avenues that you're pushing your luck and that are kind of fueling your decision base. And that's why it's my number 9. Number 8 is kind of the classic at this point, I feel like, push your luck game, and this is going to be Incan Gold, or a Diamond. Incan Gold I have played so much because in my house, in my friend group, at different parties, things like that, just because it adapts to whatever the situation is. So I love that the simplicity of it, that you're trying to go through this temple and you need to know when to come out. So when you decide, I'm out, I'm not going any further in this temple, then you get to collect gems on your way out. So you want to be the first to leave if there's a lot of gems, but you don't want to leave with somebody, because then you have to split those gems with them. But really you want to go as far as possible, because then you have the really juicy treasures that might come up. So it's about not just how far do you go, because you're hoping not to bust, but also reading the table and knowing when they're going to leave to kind of bluff your way into being the only one that leaves. So it's an interesting mechanism there of reading the table, but then also pushing your own luck, and that is why Incan Gold is my number 8. And at number 7, we have another kind of classic Yahtzee style game. This is going to be Dice Throne. What I really like about Dice Throne is just the variety of characters that you can choose to really fit your taste. So I don't really care for Marvel, so I don't usually go for the Dice Throne Marvel or Marvel Dice Throne. I just go for the generic characters. Or my personal favorite is Krampus. I love playing with Krampus, so I'll pull him any opportunity I have. So the characters are going to be asymmetric and all able to play against each other and mixed up. So pick one you like, grab your dice pool, read about your character and their special abilities, and get to playing. It has a simple, like I said, Yahtzee mechanism of you get one roll with 2 re-rolls, and then you resolve the dice depending on the results. So, like in Yahtzee, you're trying to get a full house, or you're trying to get a straight, or 4 of a kind, something like that. Whatever you get will decide which power on your board you get to utilize that turn. I really like this though because it also takes it a step beyond, and really having your character starts asymmetric, but you're also building him up as you get different action points through the game. You can spend them to level up those abilities and really kind of create a unique character. I think that is a great push your luck element of using those dice to ultimately try to take down your opponent, and that's why it's my number 7, Dice Throne. Now my number 6, Megaland, is very similar, I feel, to Incan Gold, but it just does a little bit more. It's a little bit beefier of a game. It's still very much a family weight game, but there is a little bit more to just when do I want to leave. Because in this one, when you leave and you are collecting your treasures, you get to spend those treasures in a set collection kind of way to buy different buildings. As you get those buildings and add them into your tableau, they're going to give you different boons or benefits. Sometimes it is just going to be boons, and you get additional gold or additional resources, things like that. Maybe, or it might also mitigate like your hand limit, or it might mitigate what happens if you bust. And so I like that you are building your asymmetry in this game as you go in a very, very basic game. This is still going to be a family weight game. Every round, it is full push your luck, as again, how far can I go without actually depleting all of my health? Because you're going to have different monsters that you come up against and have to fight, which are going to take out your health. So again, I really like the mitigation that you build in this, but even till the very last turn, it has that push your luck of how far can I go in order to get what I want. So that is why Megaland is my number 6. And number 5 is Paleo, which I think is probably the most innovative game on this entire list for me, on this entire top 10 here. Paleo, the push your luck is in when do you want to pass for the round. So on your turn, this is all simultaneous, you're going to draw 3 cards and you have to resolve one of those cards. Now, you don't know what those cards are going to be or what they're going to do, but the backs give you a little bit of a hint. At any point, you can just decide, I'm done for the round, I'm going to sleep. So that means nothing bad can happen to you anymore, right? Yes, but it also means you're not in the actual working pool in order to help and support your teammates in getting enough food for the night and getting up some protection and creating these pave paintings, whatever your goal of this specific scenario that you're doing. So I really like that element of you have to be awake and contributing in order to help and meet these goals. But you have to make sure you know when to go to sleep and just call it a day, because the rest of the cards in your pile look like they could be pretty dangerous and detrimental to the whole group and to the tribe. So a really neat push your luck element of that as you're trying to say, how long can I stay in and help contribute? So that's why Paleo is my number 5. And number 4, we have Quacks of Quedlinburg. This is going to be a bag builder in which you are building up your bag with all these different ingredients and then pulling them out during the pulling phase in order to get as far and have the largest concoction possible without it actually blowing up in your face, because there's this one specific chip which will make it blow up and if you reach a threshold on it. So I love this element of the kind of 2-phase game, one where you're building the bag and really trying to hone in on what's in there, and then the other one where you're trying to remember what's in there and know what your odds are of pulling that 1 or 2 chip, that's really going to make you bust. So you're pulling the chips out and putting them out into, again, your cauldron here on the table. I really like that in this one, busting hurts and you feel it. but it's not game breaking. So you really have to know when to pull back, when is it okay to bust, and when is it worth continuing to go. You know it's in your bag, if you can remember correctly, and is it worth trying to push for that one specific chip in there to get you the boon? So this is a fun, once again, simultaneous play where everyone's pulling at the same time, and you really get to see the super highs and the super lows of busting or pulling that successful chip, which just leads to a great time for everyone at the table. So that's why number 4 is Quacks of Quedlinburg. At number 3, we have Skate Summer, which I have to say, I think this is one of the most underused themes in board gaming, is skateboarding. Maybe that's because my son is a skateboarder, so I have a personal affinity for it, but I love the way this implements skateboarding. You're a skater who is trying to impress all your friends with all these tricks, and there's a dice rolling element to it, though. As you do a trick, you have to roll these dice depending on which trick and sequence it is. That's what's going to set how many you roll. You're going to roll the dice to see how the balance on your skateboard shifts. So as you're going through and sequencing these tricks together, your balance is going to shift forward or shift back, and if it ever shifts too far, of course you fall, and that is the bust. But again, kind of like Quacks, by busting, it does not mean you're completely out. Yes, you're going to lose out on some boons. Maybe you don't get to the turn order you want, or you lose that one card which you really needed in order for the second phase, which is to go through the city and where you're actually performing these tricks, but you're going through the city in order to collect different items and collect power-ups, things like that. So I love the push your luck in this, and how the further you push your luck, the harder it gets, because that dice pool that's rolling against you is even larger. But man, do you feel cool when you get it and you get the perfect combination on your board of tricks. So Skate Summer is a really, I think, again, underutilized theme that has great tension for everyone at the table as they're pushing their luck, but it doesn't break the second half of the game when you're actually resolving those tricks. So that's why it is my number 3, Skate Summer. And at number 2, we have Heat, Pedal to the Metal. This is one that's really about how far can you push your car and how perfectly can you nail that corner. Because your base hand has these push your luck cards in them, which are just simply draw another card. You can always take more heat into your car and into your deck, which are just going to junk up your hand later on, but you can take more in order to do different bonus actions as well. So it's that balance of how many can I take into my deck without just completely decimating my hand if I get a bad draw. Same thing. I have this tight corner coming up. Can I afford to use this push your luck card and draw an additional card and see what speed I'm going to be hitting, like kind of just see what happens in this corner. So it can become some really interesting and fun swingy moments in what can be a very kind of meticulous game. And I like that balance of the two. I feel like the push your luck really lightens the gameplay, but the levity of it, but the careful planning and selecting of your hand and what gear you're going to be in also makes it not so swingy that you feel that you're just at the odds of the cards. So that's why that balance brings Heat, Pedal to the Metal into my number 2 position. And my number 1 push your luck game, my favorite one when I just want to feel like I'm pushing my luck, pushing as far as I can, trying to come out on top, is going to be First in Flight. Once again, similar to Heat, Pedal to the Metal, I love the element of this, of knowing when to go into that phase to push your luck, when to take that action. So in this one, you are trying to be the first one to reach 40 on your flight path, 40 miles, 40 meters, something like that. I don't know. 40 inches. Yeah. So we're trying to reach 40 on that path. There's push your luck also in your action selection, because this is going to be one of those guys, like kind of a rondelle action selection, where one-way rondelle where you can go as far as you want, and whoever's in the last place is the next player to go. So yes, maybe you're ready to take a flight, or maybe you want to upgrade your airplane here, but that's so far in the future, you know you're missing out on actions and turns by guaranteeing that exact action space you want. So you're pushing your luck and hoping someone doesn't take the spot you want. And am I going too far ahead on this track that I'm locking myself out of actions and opportunities and falling too far behind? But also, when do I take that flight? Which is again, push your luck, because you're building up this hand of cards. You now have this airplane that you've curated this in this deck of cards, and you're deciding how far and how many of those cards to resolve until you're like, whew, all right, I've had 2 malfunctions. I can't have another one. Let me start descending. But after you decide to descend, you have to draw 2 additional cards. So it's not just when to fly. It's not just what action to take. It's not just when to descend. It's all those things together, trying to line up the perfect combination in order to fly the furthest. So First in Flight has a lot happening as far as push your luck and really feeling like you're trying to set up the perfect opportunity for yourself. And that is why it comes in at number 1 for me in push your luck games. So there you have my top 10 push your luck games. These are ones on those nights when I want kind of a swingy potential game, but for me personally, in my taste, not always give up opportunity for mitigate. I don't always want to be just at the will of the dice or at the will of the card draw. I like some mitigation mixed in there as well. These are my top 10 that I'll pull off to show people as well if they are comfortable with that mechanism or looking for something a little bit different. So my top 10 push your luck games. What about you? What do you think of these games? Which ones did I miss or forget? Let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for joining me here at the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Bassel.